Hey guys, happy Wednesday. How is everyone? Sorry, my dog seems to think something's happening and there's nothing happening. It's okay. Okay. How is everyone? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Tutorial Wednesday. Hello everyone. I'm seeing a bunch of people jump on. Hey Leslie, hey Christy, hey Faye, hey Mary. You need a cookie fix, Mary? Well, I got one for you tonight. So if you guys have not heard, I know I told my group, I don't know if I told everybody else. We are going to Hawaii. We leave on Sunday. Oh, thank you for sharing, Faye. Or I'm sorry, Leslie, thank you for sharing, or anybody else, thank you. Hey Kelly, hey Kathy. Before I even get started, if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I'm the owner and cookie artist here at Dots and Bows Cookies. So welcome, welcome. I'm here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Hey Teresa, hey Beverly. Thanks for sharing, Kathy. Hey Peggy. So as I was saying, my family and I are actually traveling to Hawaii. We leave town on Sunday. So I figured I'm making some cookies for our flight cruise that are taking us out to Hawaii. It's kind of, well, first of all, it's just a nice thing to do. And also it's kind of like a thing within the airline world. So if anybody here has worked in the airlines or know anything about it, my husband still works for Southwest Airlines. I used to work for Southwest Airlines, among other airlines as well. And it's kind of a customary thing that if you are an airline employee or even ex, and you're flying on another airline, that just to bring them something. It could be a Starbucks card, it could be any kind of gift card, it could be cookies, it could be anything. So I figured I would make some fun little Hawaiian themed cookies to give to the crew so they can munch on those on our little trek out to Maui. So tonight I'm going to show you a couple of those that I've been working on. And we'll get started with that in a second. If you guys just saw it scrolling by, the keyword tonight is Hawaii. If you put that in, there'll be some fun links that we'll send. We'll send a message to your Facebook Messenger inbox. Follow the prompts in there and you can get taken to those links. The links tonight, I believe, are, we have some new Easter tags uploaded on our website. So those are there if you want to check those out. Hey Cindy, thank you. What else? Oh, there's also the link for our products list. We always put that in there. So if you want to find anything that I'm using tonight, or most things I'm using tonight, they will be there. And then also, there's a link in there about Cookie Ears Live. That's going to be held in Kansas City. If you know April Kalanchik, who runs Sweet and Saucy Life, she is throwing a Cookie Ears Live retreat the first week of June. So I will be instructing there. And I have a special code. I'll tell you now and I'll tell you it again towards the end. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, I have a special code for all of my followers. If you buy a regular admission ticket, if you use the promo code Katrina Live, and hopefully if Carrie's on here, she'll type that in the comments for me here. Katrina Live, Katrina Live, all together, one word, Katrina Live. You will get $40 off of their the general admission to that. So, again, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that as we go on. Oh, Jenny, you are? Yeah, it's been really cold here this week, so I'm really looking forward to getting away from it. So, thank you for sharing, Mary. 1 second. In a minute, okay? In a few minutes, okay? Okay, so here's, like I said, a couple of cookies that I'm working on here. Hey, Jen. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Christy. Hey, guys. A couple of cookies I'm working on. This one is going to be super cool. I don't want to give the surprise away yet. I have one over here next to me that's already made. I did last night, but I promise you, you're going to love this. And then this is a cute little tropical drink, which, by the way, I got with Carrie, and I said I need some cutters for some Hawaii cookies. So we got together, and this is a cutter that she actually designed and printed out for me. So this cutter is exclusive. That's why I said most things I use is in my product list. That cutter, this exact cutter, you will not see there yet anyway. You never know. We might put that in our shop. But as of right now, this was just a cutter that was made for me tonight. This here, just to give you an idea, was just a round cutter. I cut it like you would cut a donut. Okay, so I cut out a regular round. This is like a 4-inch round, and then I took a smaller one and cut out the center like you did when you make a donut, and then I just went in and I cut little notches out for the pineapple slice. Okay, so it's super, super easy to do. Hey Audrey, oh, you broke your back? My goodness, we'll feel better. Hey Denise, hey Felicia. Okay, so this one has already been pre-flooded in. It's dry. And then this one has been pre-flooded into this part because we're going to do some texture on it, so it needed to be dry. So we're going to move the pineapple over to the side for a sec, and we're going to work on this one. Christy, we use an Ender 3. I don't know a whole lot about it because I don't man them. Carrie and her husband do. They man those for me and handle all of that, but I do know that is the printer that we use, the Ender 3. And so far, so good. They've been great. So. Okay, so to get started here on our coconut drink, the first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to add some texture here to, Lori, if you canceled to the subscription, that means you canceled to the Cookie Crew. This is the main page. These are my lives I do every single week on Wednesday. So that's why you're seeing it. Everybody can see this. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is the same brown, it's the same chocolate brown that I used to flood this in with. I'm going to show y'all how to do a really simple, super simple, easy technique to get a textured look like you would for a pineapple. So what I do is I just start adding just a couple of like little squiggle marks of the icing. Doesn't have to be in any way perfect, just you want some icing down on here. And then what I do is I'm just taking, this is just a paintbrush, but I actually use it for cookies. I only have ever used it for cookies. Any kind of brush that has, you know, a medium size head on it. This is a dry brush. It does not have any moisture or anything on it at all. And then what you're going to do is, let me zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see. What you're going to do is you just start kind of dabbing that dry brush all around on that wet icing that you put down, and you'll see it's going to start, and you just go around. There's no, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason, no wrong way. You just kind of go around and start adding texture. You'll see it's going to give it that fuzzy textured look that you see on the outside of a coconut. And again, you have to have your base icing be completely dry for this, because if you were to start putting any kind of pressure down and it's not, you could puncture through your base icing. So like I said, I flooded this in this morning and just let it completely dry. And now I'm just going over with this. Like I said, this is super simple. It really doesn't take much at all. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more icing. Hey Donna from Australia, welcome. So Donna, what time is it in Australia right now? I'm always curious. Anytime I see someone from another area, I'm like, oh, what time is it there? It's like a weird thing I have. Okay. So you saw how quickly I did that. It really doesn't take much at all. And I'll lift it up so you can kind of see. So you see how it kind of gives a cool texture? You could even add a little bit more if you wanted to, if you really wanted to. The only thing be careful with, that brown that I was using was flood brown. And you don't want to add too much because it's going to get too soppy and you won't get that texture. Otherwise, you'd have to let it sit and crust a bit. But you can see how kind of cool that looks. It gives it just a little bit something extra there. Hey, Roxy, how are you? Okay. So now what we can... Oh, it's 12:09 p.m. So 12:09 p.m. on Thursday, right? You're already checking ahead on Thursday. Oh, no worries, Roxy. I just got started. Okay, so now what we can start adding in a bunch of our dimensions. You can see I sketched it out on my cookie just because I wanted to have more of an idea of kind of where I wanted my layout and what I wanted to do where. So you can see I kind of sketched out just to have some placement. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. This is our lime, and you can see I didn't do a lot of details in it. But like I said, I just kind of outlined it so I know where I want everything at on the cookie. So I have, this is electric green. It's a really pretty, like, you know, a lighter green color. It's perfect for limes. And I'm just going to, and this is kind of like a, it's a little bit of a thicker flood consistency. Let me see here. Hold on one sec. Let me zoom out. Carrie's telling me my autofocus is weird. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just outline around the whole outline here of this little lime wedge, or lime half, whatever it is, in this electric green. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here with white. And you can immediately fill this in. You don't have to wait. Hey, Pamela, how are you? Thanks for joining. So guys, the craziest things have happened. So my daughter started not feeling well. My 16-year-old started not feeling well on Monday. I picked her up from school early. We went to the doctor. Well, we went to like a walk-in clinic because she had just started running a low-grade fever. And they tested her for everything and said everything's coming back negative. You know, just keep an eye on her. And so yesterday she was still running a fever of like 101. Today she gets up, she has a fever of 102.5. And I'm like, nope, you have something, let's go. So we took her back. We took her to her actual pediatrician. They tested her and she tested positive for type A flu. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. We are leaving in 4 days. 4 days. So I was actually at the hair salon and my husband took her to the doctor, found all this fun information out. And so immediately we started her on some remedies for this. You know, we're pumping her full of fluids. Meanwhile, I come home, I am blasting the house with Lysol. Doorknobs, remote, everything, remote control. I mean, everywhere that the girl may have touched is getting doused in Lysol. We got everything at CVS. We got like every immune booster, everything possible. And I'm like, we cannot be sick. We are leaving in 4 days. So she's quarantined right now upstairs to her bedroom. And I'm just praying. I'm praying that it doesn't hit the rest of us. But, you know, I feel like that's just my luck. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll make it work. We'll still make it out there. But Letitia, she got type A flu. She has the type A flu. But she started some stuff today. So hopefully within about 24 hours or so, she will start feeling a little bit better. And then she's not going to be so contagious. So really the next 24 to 48 hours are the ones where we're going to find out if anybody else gets it. Yeah, she's not loving her life right now. I can tell you that. But she's, you know, her roughest times are at night, which it always is when you're sick. And she's bummed out because she has to miss work for the last few days before we... And I know most teens are like, oh, I don't have to go to work or school, but she enjoys going to work. She likes getting that paycheck. So she's a little bit sad that she's going to be missing it. But I told her, you just need to get healthy and get ready to go because we are going on vacation. Belinda, my husband is a flight dispatcher. So he works in the operations center of headquarters, and he helps... basically, he does the whole dispatch release for the flight. So he talks to the pilots, he helps with their fuel load, determines how much fuel to put on the plane, how much weight they can carry for bags and people, you know, weather routing. They have to give them their routes on their flight, all that fun stuff. So it's an interesting job. Pretty cool job. Okay, so if you can saw, I just went in for this, if you could see, I just went in for this, the umbrella up here, and I just flooded in a really light pink color. And then what I'm going to do is I have this really bright Genie's pink, one of my favorite pinks. And I'm going to come in here and do a wet on wet. And just add some little fun details here to it. I'm just going to add these like the little triangular kind of shapes that you'd see on these umbrellas. So yeah, that wasn't the news today I was wanting to hear. I knew she had something, but I was praying it wasn't going to be the flu, and sure enough. But I knew. Before she even went, I told my husband, I said, I'm telling you, it's probably the flu. Sure enough. I'm like, perfect timing. Yes, that's what we're doing, Kathy. I'm doing like everything under the sun. I'm like practically almost bathing everybody in sanitizer and everything else. I mean, we're like every immune booster. I'm just like, let's just try to hold it off. Oh, he did, Belinda? He used to work for the ramp? That's a cool job, too. Okay, so you can see I just did a little wet on wet. It gives it just a kind of a different look. Gives a little bit more of that tropical feel. It's not so just monotone. So the next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and we can come in here and fill this in with white. And when I do this, the white that I use is a little bit thicker. It's not a super, super thin flood. So I like to give it a little bit of texture, because usually when you have a drink inside of a coconut, it's frozen or it has, you know, at least some sort of texture. And the one I already did one, like I said, I already did one of these, kind of walk through it, said what I wanted to do or what I didn't want to do with it. And when I did this morning, what I did was I let it sit for just a second, start crusting over, and then I just kind of moved it with my tool just to give it kind of that fluid look, so it's not all completely smooth. Yeah, Kelly, no live. Well, not a cookie decorating live. You never know. I mean, I'm probably gonna pop on a couple times from out there. Just know the time difference is gonna be, you know, I'll be, you know, it'll be way in the afternoon if it may be like in the evening for you guys. It'll be much earlier for me. So, you know, just keep that in mind. But yeah, there will not be a traditional cookie decorating live next Wednesday. Okay. So I think we can go ahead. I'm trying to think if I want to do anything else on this. We can go ahead and maybe, you know what? No, I'm going to let this sit for a minute. I want this to crust up, and I want this to crust up just a bit, and then we'll go add all the little details because it only takes a second to do that. In the meantime, I want to show you guys how I did this pineapple slice because it's pretty cool. Let me move this off to the side. Okay. So when I first started thinking, hey Cindy, when I first started thinking about Hawaii themed cookies, of course pineapple was one of the first things that came to my mind. And I was going to do just a traditional pineapple, but I was like, you know what? No, I want to do something different. And I'm not going to take complete credit for this design because I didn't come up with it on my own. Sweet Sugar Belle actually did something similar to this before, and I kind of saw it and I was like, I might play around with that. So I kind of just messed around with it a little bit last night, and I liked how it came out. So, all right. So what I have over here to the side, I have my little, it's like a little paint palette, right? I got this at like Michael's, they're like $1. I have airbrush color in here. So I have a warm brown, this is by Americolor, and then I have a white airbrush color. So what I'm doing is I'm going in, and these are tiny little detail cookie brushes. Y'all look how dry my hands are. I have stain all over, it's a mess. I know, rub it in your face. I know. I know. I hate that too. I hate when people like are out on vacation and they're like, hey, I'm here. And I'm just like, ugh. Especially when I don't get to participate. But, you know. Okay, so what I did was I just put a tiny, tiny bit of brown on the end of my brush. And I even wiped it off on the paper towel a little bit. Because I don't want a lot. I really just want a little bit. And what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of go around here and add just some real thin little swipes of this warm brown. Like I said, I don't want this to be saturated or anything. I just want it just to give off a little color here. Okay. So I might go a little random around here, add one here, there. I don't want to add a ton of brown though. I just want a little bit. And then I go in with another brush, same exact kind of brush, and I'm going to go in with the white. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to swipe on some white right next to the brown where I put that on. And again, you don't want a ton, you just want a little bit. Just a little bit. This is going to give you, when you add these two colors together on here, once I show you what you do next, this kind of gives it a really cool dimensional look. So like I said, I'm just going around here, adding a little bit of white. Okay. Yeah, I use airbrush just because it is thinner. You can use gel, but I would suggest thinning it down with either water or vodka, Everclear, something like that. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I have a little cup of water off to the side, and I have this wide flat brush, and I just dipped it in a cup of water, and then I pretty much just kind of blotted it off. You don't want it dripping with water, you just want it damp. And you're just going to start pulling through those colors you just put down on top of your icing. And you just want to have it damp and pull through enough to where they kind of start blurring. You don't want it to be, you don't want to see those sharp lines. You just want to blur it a little bit. Okay? And it's totally okay if it kind of looks smeary, you want it to be that way. Because if you've ever seen a pineapple slice, you know, it doesn't have perfect lines or anything. You'll see. It's going to look exactly like you see when you see a pineapple. So I'm dipping my brush back in, blotting it off on the paper towel again. Like I said, you just want to get a streaky look. That's what you're looking for. You want to kind of melt these colors, that brown and that white, together. And I'll usually go over this just a couple of times to give it that effect. And then I'll show you what we're going to do in our next step here, and it kind of brings it all together. And off to the side, I'll just take my brush and I kind of wipe it off on the paper towel, and then I'll go in and get a bit more water and just keep going around and doing it that way. Okay, so you can see we're already getting kind of like that texture look like you see in the pineapple, right? Like kind of like that has the strings in the pineapple. We're already kind of getting that type of look. Okay, so you can see kind of what you're going for. You're wanting something that looks like this. And you could even go in here with the little brush again in your brown. You can go in here and add just like a little bit, and we're going to blend this too a little bit. But you could even come into a couple of your little like cutout areas and add just a little bit of brown. So if you've ever seen like a pineapple slice, it'll have like the little brown indentation part, kind of where it had the little, I don't even know what they are, the little spikes on like the pineapple. Ebony says, just curious how long the cookie's been dried. So this is completely dried. So I actually flooded these last night. So they've been drying since last night. But you want to just have it where it's completely dry. So if you're just air drying it in front of like a fan or something like that, you want it to be, you know, roughly 4 to 8 hours depending on where you're at and how long it takes. If you're doing it in dehydrator, you can always crust it over a little bit faster. Actually, last night when I made these, I crusted them over in a dehydrator for probably about 15 minutes. And it was actually crusted over enough that I could come in and do these details without having to be completely dry. I was just careful. So, but I always say, you know, just make sure it's completely dry. So if you know, touch your finger to the icing, it's not going to go through anything. It's completely solid. Okay. Oh, they're eyes blended. That's what they're called. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Kathy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I have golden yellow, and I forgot to tell Carrie I was using this, but because we put everything together for you guys in the live, but I think we already have this tagged anyway in the products page. Yes, Darla, I am prepping big time. So I have golden yellow airbrush color. This is by the Cookie Countess. So I'm going to add just a couple of drops here to my airbrush gun. And if you don't have an airbrush gun, you could still get this same effect. You could take yellow airbrush color or gel color and thin it down and kind of paint around the edges. I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it with an airbrush, okay? So I added a few drops of yellow here. Your dehydrator's coming. You'll love it. And then all I'm doing is I'm just going to start putting some yellow around the edges here. And you can see already how it's kind of bringing it to life. So I'm going around the edges, giving it some yellow, and then we're going to do a couple other little things here, or just You know, you want to give it that dimensional look. You want to look at it and definitely be able to look and go, oh, that's a pineapple slice, right? So I round the edges. While that's drying a bit, I'm going to come in here and go around like the inner like circle part of it. And then also what I like to do, I like to come in here and then just do some like real light back and forth to like it's the stripes between, right? Because I didn't go super crazy with the cutouts along the edge, but you could have added even more than I did if you wanted to. I just did some around it. And then I'll probably hit up the outside edge one more time a bit, just to make sure we have a good color on it. You thought it was a bolt? I know it could be. It definitely could be. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? That's pretty cool, right? It's a pretty easy way to make a pineapple slice. So here is the one I did last night. So you can see I used the same technique, same exact thing. So I thought these would be pretty cute with the whole set. So when I have every Hawaiian thing in there, they'll be able to look at that and go, oh yeah, that's definitely a pineapple slice. So anyway, I think that is a pretty cute little thing. So if you guys are looking for something easy to do that has pretty good effect, this is one of them. Super, super easy. You can see it doesn't take very much. You're only flooding in with one color, and then you're just doing some accent with some painting on it. Thank you, Ebony. Yeah, I was pretty pleased with how they came out. They're pretty realistic. And I like making cookies that look like food items. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I like making cookies that look like other food. Okay. It is simple. I know. It's like you would look at it and you would think more went into it, but that's it. That's all it takes. It's like super, super, super simple. Thanks, Jen. All right, so I'm going to move this off to the side. Let's bounce back in here to our little drink. So this has had some time to crust over. You can see it's pretty crust over. I'm going to come in here and just kind of swirl it around. Like I said, I want this to kind of look like it's a tropical, maybe even frozen drink. So I'm just going to kind of jiggle this icing around just to disturb the top layer here a little bit, just to give it some texture. Okay. So now you can see it looks like we have... Oh, Jen, I know I'm excited too. I know I was talking to April about you the other day. We were talking, and I'm so excited. So Jen is going to be an instructor as well. If you don't know, Jen is from Emily Mays. So if you ever watched any of their lives, her amazing lives, she is going to be an instructor at the Cookiers Live as well. So if you guys are interested, that's going to be a fun thing to be a part of. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I made one earlier today, and I'll show it to you here in a second, where I made the little stand on the umbrella white. But when I was talking to Carrie, actually, she was like, hey, why don't you make like the stand like a green or something? And I'm like, oh yeah, we could do that. So on this one, we'll make this one green. So I'm going to go in here. Hey Liz, how are you? I'm going to go in here around my little sketch and we're going to add a little green, I don't even know what I'm thinking this is called right now. Stick, I guess, on the little umbrella. And, oh, Jen, you know what? I saw Donna saying hi to you. Donna, I don't know if you met Donna there. I'm sure you did. She was at the same little retreat. I saw the picture of y'all together, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know both of them. Donna's in my cookie crew, but I know you guys went to the same, the little retreat up there that y'all went to this last weekend, I believe it was. Which looked totally fun. That looked like super, super fun. Yeah, Belinda, I will. Yeah, I'm waiting because they're actually going to be giving me some promo stuff too to put out. So you're going to hear a lot about it. Hey, Catherine, it's freezing there. It's pretty cold here too, but it's warming up. Liz, you should totally, totally come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus you get to see all of us. Okay, so I am now going to come in here. I'm going to make, I have a thicker white icing here off to the side. It's like a piping consistency. She is the sweetest, isn't she, Donna? And thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I'm getting Hawaii ready. You know what I mean? I went yesterday and I was like, I need to get it together. I went and got my hair done today. I'm like, I need to get it together. Okay. So if you can see, I know it's kind of far, but I'm adding just like the little stick here of where it would be coming in to hold our lime wedge in. And then what I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to go back in here with the Genie Pink. And I'm going to go right over the top here. So this is going to be like, as if it were like a little piece of, it could either be a decoration on the stem. You could even do like a red if you wanted to, make like a little cherry on there too. Whatever you wanted to do. Yeah, she's the best. There was a retreat up in Canada last weekend, I believe it was, that some people I know up there attended. And Marlon from Montreal Confections was there, which I met her at CookieCon, and she's like the sweetest person ever. So now I'm just adding a little white dot here at the top, so you can see. It just gives it some cute little definition, right? And you know what I totally forgot to do? I want to bring this down into the coconut, and I didn't do that. So we're going to extend this a little bit. I'm over here running my mouth, and I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. That's what happens. You get me talking about something, and I go off in a, talking about retreats and everything else. Karen, you were there too? I know, Liz, all this stuff. I know it's like so much money. CookieCon and everything else going on. I know it is. Darla, the best way that I have found to get off your skin is actually in the shower. Usually if I get a bunch on my skin, by the time I pop in the shower, most of it will come off between like washing your hair and all that stuff. That's actually, or swimming. Going swimming in a pool a lot of times will get the coloring off of your skin pretty easily. So now I'm going in here with this blue color they have. This is sky blue. And I'm just adding like these fun little like stir sticks. That would be down in your drink. And this is a thicker blue, by the way. You can probably see that as I'm adding it. It's pretty thick. So I'm just going to kind of move my icing around and thin it out. I don't care that it's super, super smooth, but smooth enough. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go back in with the thick white. And I like to kind of just go around the base of where everything would kind of be going into that frozen drink at, and adding a little bit so it kind of looks like it has like that barrier there, like it's sitting and kind of, if that makes sense, like it's going into the drink and the drink is kind of settling around what's going down into that, if that makes sense. Hey Pat, how are you? So cool, right? Look how cool that is. So definitely a cute little drink on the beach or by the pool. So Karen, this is a cutter that we actually designed and printed ourselves. There are other shops out there that make cutters similar to this, but I actually didn't have one, and I needed some different cutters for these cookies I'm making to take to Hawaii. So I got with Carrie, and she helped me design some and printed them for me. So thanks, Pat. Okay, so you guys can see how cute this is. I'll grab the one that we did tonight. Ah, I almost caught it on my wire. Cute, right? So those are going to be together. Thank you. Those are going to be together, and then I made, this one is crazy. We're flying on Hawaiian Airlines out there, and I like to pay homage to the like the airline or whatever it is, because you know we're airline geeks. So I made some Hawaiian Airline logo cookies. So this is another cutter that we designed. We just took their logo shape, and we designed and printed that cutter. And then I just did their logo on that. So they're getting some of those cookies. And then some other just fun stuff. They're getting like flamingos, grass skirts. And of course, when I'm done with the whole set, I always take pictures. So you guys are going to get to see everything. But it's cool. I'm making some like grass skirts and some cookies that say aloha, some thank you cookies. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think they're going to be cute. And, you know, it's a big thank you to the crew. You know, the crew that's taken the time to fly us all the way out there so they can have a fun little treat. So, but yeah, next Wednesday I won't be live decorating cookies, but like I said, I'll pop on here and there while we're out there and just give you guys a quick rundown of what's happening and what's going on and check in with everybody. Cookie Years Live, I know somebody else had asked about that. So Cookie Years Live is June 6th through the 8th. It's in Kansas City, Missouri. If you're interested, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a handful of instructors there. I was talking to April the other day about it from Sweet and Saucy Life. She's the one that's putting this on. And she was going over a bunch of stuff with me. It's going to be so much fun. They have a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff planned. So if you guys can make it up there, it's a fun little thing to do. But if you put in Hawaii Tonight and followed all of our links, there's a bunch of information there about that. Thank you, Michelle. You know what, Becky? I don't know if you guys have seen them before, but I have these plastic containers that are like the stackable ones. I just package them really well and put like layers of like parchment paper in between because I heat seal each of my cookies anyway. So these will all be put into a cellophane bag and heat sealed. And then I layer them in the like the plastic container, like I don't even know who makes them. I forget. It's like Sterilite or something. The snappable plastic containers, and I take them through security like that. They can see them. If they need to open them, they can. Not open like the individual cookies, but if they need to open the clear bin, they can do that. And I just carry them on the plane with me. They're like a lap. You know, they sit in my lap. And I've never had a problem. So, yeah, it's like a mini Cookie Con. But, oh, you did, Angela? You got your ticket? It's like a mini Cookie Con, but it's not. She wanted it to be, and I'm glad she did this, she wanted it to be more of an intimate setting, not so crazy like Cookie Con. She wanted it to be where you're actually getting a ton more hands-on cookie classes, rather than having to, like at Cookie Con, you have to get all the add-on classes to get a lot of hands-on, whereas there you're going to get all day hands-on. So, it'll be a lot of fun. So if anybody is interested, it's a really fun thing to go to. And you get to meet all of us and hang out. So, you know, there's that too. The stackable containers, I got mine at Target. And I think we might have it in the product page, maybe. Because I've talked about them a ton. As a matter of fact, I know we do. Because I did a live about storage and packaging and stuff. And I believe we added them to the product page. But in case we didn't, you know, you can always shoot me a message, and I'll send you guys the link of the ones that I got. Belinda, Cookie Con's a blast. I'm going to go to the next one. So I'll be next March, wherever it's going to be, I'll be at Cookie Con that year. I just couldn't make it this year with everything going on. So, does anyone have any questions for me before I go? You want to go, Pat? I want you to go too. If no one has any other questions for me, I think that is it for tonight. So like I said, once I get done with this whole set, I'll be sure to post. No, I'm not leaving the container with them, Becky, because we're going to San Fran and then we're flying to Hawaii from there. So before we actually go to get on the plane in San Fran, I'm going to box them up in a in a box, a regular gift box, and give it to them on the plane that way. But just to get through security and travel to San Francisco with them, I'm going to have them in the plastic container. So, thank you guys. We're going to have a blast, I know. So, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, fingers crossed, guys. Many prayers for us that everybody stays healthy. I'm sure that we will. So, the name of the event, Diane, is Cookiers Live. And if you put Hawaii here in our comments and then follow the prompts in your Facebook Messenger, we have a link to a bunch of information about it. And it's on actually April's site, Sweet and Saucy Live, where you can sign up. And we have a promo code for my followers if you want to put that in to get a discount. I know, I wish you guys could go with me. It's going to be fun. I'm trying to see what you were saying, Belinda. A product you can use your gel colors into airbrush. Oh, I have that already. Are you talking about dilution solution? If you're talking about dilution solution, I believe it's by Artisan Accents. I already have that. I've used it a couple times because it's handy when you want to get a specific color that you may have in a gel but you don't have it in an airbrush. It dilutes it down thin enough to go through your airbrush. It's a pretty cool product, so if you haven't messed around with it, it's a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Well, I think that is it for tonight. Like I said, if you guys ever have any questions, don't hesitate. Even when I'm on vacation, I'll always keep an eye on everything. So, and Carrie's always around too. So, but thanks you guys for watching tonight. And I will pop on live a couple of times, next week while we're gone and stuff. So, all right. So you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.